Hi everyone, I'm Vale and I make vlogs about fashion, sewing, and living abroad in Colombia. And today I'm excited to take you along with me on my birthday coastal trip. We take this trip every year. We did change it up a little bit this year, but some of the things that we're going to do together are that we are going to go to Cartagena for a little bit. We're meeting up with some friends who came to visit, and then we're going to go to Barranquilla. We've never been to Barranquilla, so really looking forward to getting to know that city a little bit better, going to see some of the sights, and then also potentially going to buy some fabric. And I'll let you all know a little bit more about that when we get there. But Barranquilla is very well known for its fabric scene, and so kind of mixing those two interests of fashion and travel. And then finally, we're gonna go to Santa Marta, which is really my favorite place in the world. I think I can say that at this point. I go every year for my birthday. We go to a really nice hotel area called Irotama, and then we do a hike into the national park, Tayrona. So all of that is really beautiful, and if you are somebody who's been interested in traveling along the Colombian coast, stick around and I'll show you some of the cool things that we did. Everybody, we're going to the beach.
Claro, dead serious.
More flashbacks. I am currently in Barranquilla and we are on our birthday coast trip. Two of Tim's friends, actually some of my really good friends now, Mitch and Marilyn, are here with us. They are from New Orleans and they came to celebrate. It's also kind of their anniversary, so it's super cute. It's kind of like a couple's trip. We were in Cartagena. We did some really fun stuff. I actually have another vlog of like my really favorite Cartagena things to do, but this time we went on a boat. It was super cool. I have some video of that for you all. And then we got on a bus and came to Barranquilla. We are staying at the most beautiful hotel. It's called Hotel El Prado. I'm going to show you all some of the cute little spots here. It was built in the 1930s, actually 1930, so it's 95 years old. So it's got this like very deco vibe that is super cute. But the reason I'm super excited to be in Barranquilla amongst like many, like I've never been and I've heard it's very beautiful and very fun, is that Barranquilla is very well known for its fabrics and for the different types of fabric, but also because it's a port city, a lot of the fabric that comes into Colombia comes in through Barranquilla. There's a big Arab population here historically, and they kind of, you know, have the fabric trade. And so I'm excited to go to do that today, to go see fabrics at really good prices and get some linens and get some cottons, etc. So I'll take you all along for my little Barranquilla shopping. Then we're gonna head to Santa Marta, which is my favorite place on earth to relax, to spend my birthday, to go to the beach, to go to the pool, etc. So really fun stuff this week, just taking it really easy. I also had made kind of a pact with myself of like, I'm gonna read as much as possible on this trip. I'm gonna try to read 6 books, like it's totally possible. And then the day that I was leaving for this trip, I got robbed and like my cell phone got stolen in Bogota, and then I had to get on the flight. So like I haven't replaced it. I don't have a phone. I'm completely offline, which is exactly what I needed actually. So like, even though yes, my phone got stolen and I have to figure out how to replace it, etc., I have been crushing these books. I am on my I just finished my 3rd book. I was at the gym, I finished my 3rd book, and I've been here 4 days. So killing it, starting a new book today. I'm gonna do a little book review for you all, because I read Grown Ups, which was a book that was recommended. I'm pretty sure it's like Finnish. Then I read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I also just finished Writers and Lovers, which I have had on my TBR forever, and I loved it. So I'll give you all a little bit of a book review throughout the week. And yeah, come along with me. I'll show you the best way to enjoy the coast, which is with ease and with tranquility. But first, let me show you some of this hotel. It's really quite beautiful. Look how beautiful this hotel is. It's got a tennis court over here. Just these beautiful Art Deco hallways. Just like being transported in time. And at night, I'll show you later, but this like lights up. And it just looks like you're walking in like a 1920s Hollywood movie. And I'm going to show you the pool in a second, which is also absolutely gorge.
What am I singing?
Birthday.
I know, I've been feeling the pressure too.
Okay, today we're gonna go to Tayrona. We're gonna go hiking. We're gonna hike all the way up there and then go to some beaches. And then we're gonna kind of decide how we're gonna come back. We're gonna see if we take a horseback or we take a boat or if we convince ourselves to hike all the way back. But I'll show you sort of the nice Tayrona National Park. Okay, we made it, and I feel like that was like way harder this time than last time that we were here, but it's so beautiful. Let's see if you can sort of see the beach, but also just like everything around. Yeah. Okay, we are at El Irotama, which is one of my favorite places ever. It is like a hotel resort in Santa Marta, and it is the last leg of our trip. So first off, we went to Tayrona, so I want to definitely show you that. Tayrona is a national park in Colombia. It is sprawling. It has multiple beaches, some of which you can only access on foot, and some of them that you can only access by boat. And there are many different ways to get there. We tend to choose the option of hiking up and then taking some sort of transportation back. So last time that we were here, actually last year we went just by boat. We went to some of the beaches that you could only reach by boat. But this year we're going to go hiking again. So we've done this hike before. It's about a 3-hour hike, and then you get to Cabo San Juan, which is like the main beach that people go when they're hiking. There are other beaches you can hike to, but it is a much more extensive hike. It's like a day-long hike. So yeah, we did that 3-hour hike, and then we ended up taking a little boat back into Santa Marta. By the end of that trip, when we got on that lancha, I was like so tired. I'd been in the sun all day, hike, etc. And it was such a rough ride. I couldn't even record it because I was like, oh, are we gonna like make it? And by the end, I just had like a really pounding headache, but still it was beautiful. I think that is, if you are in Colombia, one of the things that you must do. It looks like out of a movie. It's just like, it's hard to explain how beautiful these beaches are, how beautiful this park is. And if you're somebody who likes to hike, you know, it's totally doable. I do definitely recommend drinking a lot of water. Otherwise, you're going to end up with some heat exhaustion because it is very hot inside that rainforest. But yeah, that was really, really fun thing to do. Now, today is my birthday, which I'm excited about. So I'm going to spend the day at the resort, and I'll show you sort of some of the things that we do around here. Okay, let's do a little mini break from the resort so that I can do some book reviews with you, because I have been reading this week. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I got robbed in Bogota, which is fine. Robberies happen. Like, it's not the end of the world. But I did get to disconnect, right? It did lead me to sort of disconnect and sort of say, all right, like, I have nothing to do except read, which is good. It's actually, again, a very good reminder to be so specific with the universe. So specific, because if you say, oh, I wish I had more time to read, or I really want to get off my phone, like, boom, right? Those things will happen quickly. So I read 4 books, and I'm on my 5th book, which I'm almost done with. And I don't think I'm going to get to 6. So I think it's going to be 5 books for this trip, because it is our last day here. And yeah, again, I'm like almost done with this book, but I'm just not. Okay, so the first 2 books that I read were all right, but they were still, you know, like, they were fast reads, which I appreciate. One of them was for a book club, and the other one was just something that had been recommended, I think, on TikTok. So the first book that I read was Grown Ups by Marie Aubert. I'll put the picture here. And this had been recommended to me a couple of times before. It is a quick read. I'm pretty sure it's like a Finnish book, or like from Finland. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I think that that's what I've heard. It is definitely in Europe. I just wasn't sure if it was like Switzerland or Finland or whatever. And it's about a woman who has just turned 40 and goes away on this weekend trip with her younger sister, her younger sister's husband, her younger sister's husband's kid from another marriage, and her parents, right? And it really is about like the idea of growing up, or that's kind of like the theme behind it, right? It's called Grown Ups. I did enjoy some things about it. First, it was a quick read. Second, I do tend to like characters that are a little bit crazy, even if I can't really empathize with them, even if they're a little different from me. I do enjoy reading those sort of narratives. However, I had a little trouble connecting with her, I guess, her driving motivators. Like, I didn't really understand what it is that she wanted. I think by the end, I kind of understood that she was kind of stuck in this cycle of childhood of like playing the part that she thought her family wanted her to play, and then hopefully at the end recognizing that that's not the part she wanted to play anymore. But I just don't think that we got to that part. I don't think we got to that catharsis where I was really understanding that she had learned her lesson, or she was going to act differently. Not that you always need to get there, but I don't know. There was just something a little bit about the ending that I just left me wanting a little more from this character. And I did kind of relate to that idea. I mean, I do kind of relate to the idea of having to grow up and not wanting to grow up. I think millennials in particular have this neurosis where we kind of act like children. And so I understand that. I just don't empathize so much with her issues of not growing up, which tended to be more around like, you know, she was put in this box by her family and she was, I don't know. All that to say, 3 stars, right? It was fine. It was a quick read though. I read it in like half a day. I think I read it at the airport. So if you're sort of looking for something to like jumpstart you into a trip, I always recommend something short so that you can sort of like get into that like rhythm. And for that, 3 stars. Next up, this was a book for a book club, and it's the latest Taylor Jenkins Reid book, Atmosphere. I feel like I always end up reading her books for book clubs. Like, I've read so many of her books now, and they've all been for book clubs. And I did enjoy Daisy Jones. I did like that one. I think aside from that, I can find her writing a little cheesy, but it is also a fast read. So this is about a woman, June, who is... It's set in the 80s, and she is training to become an astronaut. She like, you from the beginning, you know she's already gone to space. She is an astronaut, but it is also like a queer love story. And I won't give it away too much because I do think that this is a book that a lot of people are going to read. She's very popular as an author, and I did enjoy it in the sense that I moved fast, and I kind of tried to pin down like, what is it about her writing that I enjoy, because I do, again, read many of her books and I enjoy the world building that she does. I do really enjoy the relationships that she builds between her characters. I feel like she, in all of her books, has these dynamics between characters that feel really loving and really caring, like community. And I think that that's a really beautiful thing. And I enjoy that part. I do think sometimes though she has a little too much exposition in her dialogue. So like sometimes the dialogue is doing a lot of the carrying, in the sense that like she's not really showing us two people like where I'm seeing their chemistry for example, they're just kind of usually confessing their love for each other. And so that can kind of take me out a little bit sometimes, because I'm feeling like, okay, like that's not necessarily what happens, I think, when people fall in love. I think that there's a lot more unsaid, a lot more like chemistry, a lot more vibes. And there are other authors who do this really well. And I will say writing romance is very difficult. So gotta give her that. She always gives it a chance. And I do enjoy that she writes queer relationships from time to time. So all in all, I'll give this one 3.5 stars. It's, again, quick read, and it's a longer book, so it's like it moves. Like we're moving through, through time pretty quickly, and I really, I enjoy a book that's moving, that's setting us in new locations, that's teaching me things that I don't like. Actually, let's give this one 4 stars, because you know what, Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid, you consistently put out good work, and it does what it needs to do, like what people expect from a book from you. And all in all, enjoyed it. Now, this next book I loved, I absolutely loved, I'm obsessed with, and this is Writers and Lovers by Lily King. This has been on my TBR forever. I swear to God, like 5 years, and it just keeps getting bumped. And like, it might be a situation where like, it might be the cover. Like, I don't know if it was just something, and I just felt like I had some distance from it. So like, I just didn't read it, whatever. This book came out, I think, in 2020. So it's been, again, on my TBR for a long time. And finally, I was just like, I saw one more TikTok of somebody else being like, read this. And I was like, all right, fine, let's do it. Let's get it. It was so phenomenal. Like, it was definitely like, I liked the protagonist, not like that always matters, but like, we weren't living solely in her head. Like, all of this cast of characters, and it's set in the 90s, which I really like. I enjoy books that are set in the past, because you don't have like the modernity sort of peeking in and making me feel like, oh my God, it's too close to like my actual world and I'm scared now. Like, I like a little bit of distance. And it's about this woman who's 31, her mom has died, and she's trying to be a novelist, but she's broke. She's got like debt collectors coming after her. She's working at a restaurant as a server. And so it's very like relatable to that idea of like, I want to write and I have something to share with the world, but it's also funny. And like, the characters are so like real and authentic, and everything that's happening to her, it feels so real and authentic. Like when you hit those like ruts in your life and you're just like, what is going on? And like, am I ever going to find myself out of that? And so I felt very like in the world, and it was just one of those books I could not put down. I was like, not, and at the end, like, it's a happy ending. And like, I love a book with a happy ending, God forbid. Right. And it's just, it felt so, I don't know, I felt so warm and encompassed reading it. And I don't want to give it too much away, because I really do hope you read this one. Like, this is a must read for me. And I had never read Lily King. Like, she's written quite a few books. I think she's got like 5 books out. And it just like can't explain the joy when you find someone like that, where you're just like, wow, like I can't believe I've never read this author, even though they've been around. I've seen their books. And now I have this like treasure trove of books that I can sort of dive into. And so I immediately bought another one of her books, and she has a short story collection, which I think is more recent, or I don't know if it was republished with some like quotes in the back about writers and lovers. Oh, sorry. The book is Writers and Lovers by Lily King, the first one I read. I don't know if I said that. The second book I read from her is 5 Tuesdays in Winter, and it's her short story collection, and they are phenomenal. There are some in there that are a little gruesome, I'm not gonna lie, but like, that's kind of par for the course for short stories. A lot of times you'll read a short story collection and it's just all like dark like stories, and at the end you're kind of left like, wow, that was written really well, but like maybe my stomach hurts a little bit. Like, I feel like that's how I felt recently when I read Rejection. I felt like, okay, these were obviously well written, but they were so close to like what's happening in the world today that I'm like a little queasy about it, Whereas 5 Tuesdays in Winter, I feel like they had so many stories that were so beautiful and like left you with this like feeling of like happiness and warmth. And it just reminded me a lot of what she did in Writers and Lovers, where she has this ability to just like move a story, set up a world, like heighten it at the right point, and then leave us with like an ounce of hope. Not in every story, but in most of them. And I loved it. I read this one in a day. It was just, I couldn't put it down. And with short story collections, that can be hard sometimes, because it's like, you build a world and you put it down, so it can be tough to be like reading it as fast as like a novel. But I definitely recommend this one. If you're somebody who loves short stories as I do, this is a really good one. And if you're somebody who likes to write short stories as I do as well, this is a really good masterclass on how to do that, right? Of how to build worlds and how to give them these sort of like personalities, these sort of like moments of authenticity, even though these are new characters and whatnot. So yeah, I recommend both of those books, 5 stars from Lily King. Writers and Lovers is definitely up there on my top 5 for the year. And it might make it to my bookshelf of like my top 20. It's just, I can't explain it. It has a lot of heart, and I love stories with a lot of heart. So that's that. And then finally, I'm reading now The Ministry of Time. And this one is a book by, I cannot see the, oh my gosh, I'm like going hard. I'll put the picture. Because I can't see it on my Kindle. But it is about a woman who ends up working at the Ministry of something or other in England, basically being the caregiver to a man who they have pulled from the 1800s through time travel. And I love conceits like that. I love like little, like I loved Beautyland, because it's got like a little conceit like that of like, this happened and that's it, right? So it's got that little conceit. So far I'm enjoying it. I'm about 70% in, and it's a love story as well. So I'll let you know sort of how I feel when I'm done, but so far it's moving quickly. I think that there are some sentences here, and I think maybe it's because it's a British author, that feel a little clunky to me, in the sense that I have to keep reading them over again, because I'm like, wait, what is, and I'm a very fast reader, so sometimes I'm like kind of pushing through and I'm like, wait, that sentence didn't make sense, and I have to go back and read it. But I do think it's just sort of like a difference in English and how maybe proper this English is. But all in all, enjoying it, and I think that the conceit is a really fun thing in this book. So far I would give it like 3.5 stars, maybe 4 by the time I'm done with it. So that's all I read this week, and I'm hoping to finish this book, maybe start another one at the airport tomorrow. But it feels like a big reading week for me. I met my goal, and I'm feeling that kind of energy after you've read a lot of books, that you're just like, wow, like everything is so creative, everything feels good, that I hope that you find as well.